Hey, welcome. So, if you're running a CPA firm, you know the deal. The pressure is just constant, right? But what if I told you the key to real growth isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter? Today, we're going to dive into how some of the most successful firms are finally breaking free from that capacity crunch and actually building for the future. Let's get right into it.
Yeah? Does this sound a little too familiar? It's that classic tax season chaos, isn't it? That feeling of being totally buried, where every single phone call just piles on more pressure. The thing is, for a lot of firms, this isn't just a busy season anymore. It's just the way things are.
And that really brings us to the core of the problem. We're talking about a CPA capacity crunch. This isn't just a workload issue. It's a strategic capacity issue. The old model of just grinding through it, it's breaking. The sharpest firms are realizing that just throwing more hours at the problem, well, it's just not going to solve it.
Okay, so let's break this down, because it's not just one thing. It's like a perfect storm. First off, you've got this chronic shortage of local talent, right? And even if you do find someone great, the cost to hire and train them is just astronomical. Meanwhile, your best people, they're getting totally burned out doing the same repetitive tasks over and over. And all of this is happening while you're trying to shift the firm towards that high-value advisory work. It's a total squeeze.
So what's the move? For a lot of people, the word outsourcing immediately pops into their heads. But you know what? We really need to reframe what that word even means today. It is so much more than just a way to cut costs. And this slide just nails the difference. The old myth was that outsourcing was a gamble. You'd save a few bucks, but you'd probably sacrifice quality. The reality now? It's a strategic move. It's the solution to that talent crunch we were just talking about. It's all about building the capacity you need to actually grow. So if you're going to make this move, where do you look? Well, there's a reason India has become such a powerhouse for U.S. firms. You get pros who are already trained up on U.S. GAAP and tax code. But here's the real game changer, the time zone advantage. Your firm can literally be working 24/7. You log off for the day and your team overseas picks right up. Think about what that does for your turnaround times.
Okay, so that's the why. Let's get into the how. I want to show you how this actually works on a practical level, because this isn't some fuzzy abstract idea. It's a real step-by-step process.
The smartest way to dip your toes in is to start with the high-volume, low-risk stuff. You know, all the work that eats up a ton of your team's time but isn't super complex or client-facing. We're talking about bookkeeping, reconciliations, basic tax prep. When you offload these tasks, you immediately free up your in-house experts to do the work that really matters. And here's the best part, getting started is designed to be super low risk. A good partner is never going to ask you to just dive into the deep end. It's a gradual thing. It starts with a simple discovery call. Then, we map out a workflow that actually fits your firm. And then, and this is key, you run a small pilot program. You get to see the quality and the results for yourself before you ever commit to scaling up. All right, now let's talk about the one thing that makes this whole strategy just seamless, and that's white label accounting. This is kind of the secret sauce, you know? What it means is your offshore team works as a completely invisible extension of your firm. To your clients, nothing changes. The experience is totally uninterrupted. They see your brand, they get your quality, but behind the curtain, you've suddenly got this powerful engine delivering results way faster than before. And the benefits are just huge. I mean, you expand your capacity almost overnight, without all the headaches of hiring. And most importantly, you keep that consistent client experience and protect that brand identity you've spent years building. It's pretty much all of the gain with none of the disruption.
Okay, I get it. At this point, you're probably thinking, this all sounds great, but... And you've got questions, big ones, about quality, security, control, and you should. These are totally valid concerns. So let's just tackle them head on. This is always question number one, and for good reason. Your firm's entire reputation is built on the quality of your work. So is that at risk here?
The short answer is no, not if you have the right partner. The key is finding a team that's specifically trained to U.S. standards with really strict multi-level review protocols already built into their process. Quality control isn't some afterthought. It has to be the absolute foundation of the whole model. All right, next up, the big one, data security. We're talking about some of the most sensitive client information imaginable. How can you possibly be sure it's protected? Any partner worth their salt takes this incredibly seriously. We're talking multiple layers of security, encrypted communications, secure servers, legally binding NDAs. Honestly, the security protocols are often even more robust than what many firms have in their own local offices.
And finally, There's that fear of losing control. You know, that feeling that if you hand the work off, you're giving up your say over the final product, over the client relationship itself. No, not at all. Actually, it's the total opposite. This model is designed to give you more strategic control. You are always the decision maker. You are always the face of the firm to your clients. Just think of your offshore team as the engine room of a ship. They're handling all the heavy lifting behind the scenes so that you can stay on the bridge, steering the ship and focusing on your clients. So, when you put it all together, the right strategy, the right process, the peace of mind on security and quality, what does the future of your practice actually look like? Let's paint that picture for a second.
This right here, this is the end game. Yeah, you reduce costs, that's great. But what's more important is you dramatically speed up your turnaround times. That means happier clients. And it means your team is finally free to do that high-value advisory work that really drives growth. It's about scaling your firm without scaling your stress. So, I'm just going to leave you with this one final thought. Look, the capacity crunch is absolutely real. The old way of just grinding it out, it's just not sustainable. So the question every single firm leader has to ask themselves is right there on the screen. Are you going to keep working harder, or are you finally ready to start working smarter? Because honestly, that choice could define the entire future of your practice.